Hi, I'm Jake Smith. Today we are at historic Nash Farm Battlefield in Henry County, Georgia, and I am here to give you an inside look at the hobby of Civil War reenactment. Historical reenactment is a hobby that draws a diverse group of people from all walks of life. We are going to see if we can get to know just who these people are. Can you tell me what position you hold in the battalion and a little bit about yourself?
I am a first lieutenant in a company, 16 Georgia Company G, and I am 39 years old from Dahlonega, Georgia.
My name is Rick Nelson. I'm first corporal for the 16th Georgia Company G, Jackson Rifles. I'm also a GCSU student, go Bobcats.
I'm Colonel Hunter Porthos. I'm the commander of the Georgia Volunteer Battalion. I've been reenacting since 1991 when I got out of the real military.
What first sparked your love of history?
Began when I was 8 years old.
Probably had to start when I was in third grade.
I was about 6 or so. My parents actually took me to a reenactment.
My father and just a lot of my family. My grandfather was in World War II. Both of them were in World War II. And, you know, hearing their life stories and just all the stuff, we never went on like a real family vacation. Anytime we went somewhere, we went to a battlefield. And I've always been interested in it and probably always will be.
I had visited Andersonville Prison in South Georgia, and instantly, just after I seeing it, just had an instant interest in learning more about this time period, this time of history. This just kind of grabbed me, wanted to be immersive with it, wanted to learn more about it.
What led you specifically to reenacting?
First reenactment I went to, I was 6, and ever since I saw that, it just kind of sparked it. I saved up all my lunch money actually the whole next year so that I could save up to get a uniform, and my parents took me back. I'm doing it ever since.
I got with the Sons of Veterans group in my hometown, and the next meeting they say, hey, you want to go to a reenactment with us? I was like, yeah, that'd be great.
When I came home after the service, I was commuting back and forth from Macon to Milledgeville to school at Georgia College, and there was a unit that ran Old Clinton War Days, and one day on the way home I just pulled into town and said, hey, this is great, how do I get started? And that was it. That was in May of '91.
How has this hobby most significantly changed you?
This hobby has actually brought me close to a lot of people. The people that you reenact with, they start to become your family, and it brings you closer together and expands your personality as just a modern day person.
Reenacting transcends economic and social stereotypes. It doesn't matter how much money you make, or if you went to school, or where you went to school, or what kind of degree you have, or what kind of job you have. None of that means anything here.
Excluding historical facts, what is the most important thing that you have learned from reenacting?
Probably brotherhood, camaraderie, and just trust for people.
It's shown me how tough I can be. When I first started this, the idea of living days without running water in a field with whatever the weather brought, I wasn't sure if I could do it. It's shown me a good bit of what I'm made of.
A lot of it's like the friendships and relationships and kind of how to act in society. I feel like, especially being a young man growing up in it, you kind of grew up and it kind of taught you how to grow up to be a man.
It made me grow up as a person. I've been through a lot through this. Being, doing it for 13 years, I've gone through a lot of milestones in my life around these people, and all the individuals that I've met over the 13 years have helped shape me to the person that I am today.
Why is what you do important?
To me, living histories and reenactments like this, it gives you sort of a first-person point of view of history.
If I don't tell somebody, they may have no idea about specifically what soldiers went through, other than what they just read in their, third or fourth grade history book.
Aside from reading in books and watching documentaries, you're out there watching soldiers fight.
For the U.S., this was the most self-defining moment. People who were dirt poor and didn't have the biggest stake in society took up arms to fight each other because they felt their side was right. Right, wrong, or indifferent, those men should be honored.
I think it's important because so many people just look at it as a history book or a black and white, and they look at the battles and they look at the leaders and they kind of run it as like a timeline, but they don't really look at it as the average guy, which is no different than they are today.
How does the past, namely the Civil War, impact us today?
I think it has an impact on everything. It has an impact on our culture. It has an impact on the way we think. I mean, it's a part of us. It's a part that shaped the nation that really ended up turning the United States into a powerhouse.
It affects everything that we do. It is the single most important event that happened in this country. It redefined what it meant to be free.
If we're truly smart about it, we will learn from the mistakes of two groups of people back then that weren't able to resolve their differences without coming to wars. That's why we study history a lot. Why did these things happen, so that we don't repeat them today and have the bloodshed over disagreements.
Where do you see reenactment 10 years from now?
I see it kind of evolving. It's the interest more for very authentic campaigner type events is growing, which is kind of a shift from the type of event like we see here today.
I see a lot of the younger guys getting really interested into it, and there's a lot of enthusiasm. So I see the side, namely the authentic side, growing rapidly in this.
It'll have to become more personal and private, done, on private land versus doing it on government property.
Honestly, that depends. What I would like to see is it continuing. But the political climate of today is making it very difficult for us to continue. Even where we sit right now, Nash Farm Battlefield, the largest cavalry battle of the entire Atlanta campaign, the members of government here in this county are trying to destroy any evidence that this battle actually existed.
Politicians and all this don't want these living history programs to be shown and basically want to try and rewrite history. I see somewhat decline.
Nash Farm is one of the most meticulously preserved battlefields in all of Georgia. In August of 1864, it was witness to Kilpatrick's raid. On this sacred ground, Union General Judson Kilpatrick's cavalry crashed through Ross's Texans in what was the largest cavalry raid of the entire Atlanta campaign. Today, however, Nash Farm is at the center of an entirely different kind of battle, a political one. In 2017, the county attempted to develop Nash Farm into a park, but were stopped amidst public outlash from the community. This year, 2019, the county voted 3 weeks before the event to cancel the non-refundable permit that would have allowed the reenactors to fire muskets and cannons. The withdrawal of this non-refundable permit came at a cost of $4,000 to the host unit. 3 days before the event, the Nash Farm Battlefield sign, identical to this one, was torn down and left in rubble. The day of the event, this makeshift sign removing the designation of the word battlefield was placed there, standing proudly for all the reenactors to see. Today, the county is renewing their efforts spreading the rhetoric that Nash Farm never was a battlefield in the first place. How do you feel about the current political climate surrounding the battlefield that you're sitting on right now?
Well, I think it's a shame. This has become a hotbed for all the wrong reasons.
I think just trying to discredit or disown a historic site that happened in your county just because it's something you don't 100% agree with is just wrong and not right.
To be quite honest, I'm angry because the existence of this battlefield has been very well established, very well documented. There's over 3,000 artifacts that have been dug up archaeologically and recorded on this very location. And it seems that the political stance of certain members of government in this county takes precedent over the actual historical fact.
If you could tell people one thing about reenacting, what would that be?
Don't judge us. Don't stereotype us.
That's it?
I think that's enough. Yeah.
Come out and experience it for yourself before you make a judgment about it.
The one thing that I would probably say is don't judge us by what you see of other groups.
I get to tell the stories of people whose stories aren't told.
I feel like I keep history alive by doing this.
Can we use that?
Probably. I was recording it.
Maybe Cody's learned a bunch of
What's
stuff.
going on over there? The cowboys' butts drive you nuts?
Is that a question?
Yes. Answer it honestly.
Cowboys, but I just that's inappropriate.